Hi, Enzo here. Today, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to cook roasted rabbit with beer. We need one whole rabbit for this recipe, and onions, olives, herbs, which we have sage, oregano, bay leaves, and rosemary. We need oil, pepper, and butter, and obviously the beer. Now, a pale ale, Sierra Nevada. It's a beer that's very hop citrusy, so it will be very well balanced with the rabbit gamey meat. We're going to fill up the center of the rabbit as well, and for that I have boiled very lightly pumpkin and sweet potatoes. Now for the rabbit, I have taken almost all the ribs out, and that's going to be the casing for my filling. So I'll take the rest of these ribs like so. Just snap them out, even by hand is very easy. Now for the filling, just a little bit of salt, cracked pepper, and lightly mashed it. Make sure that the filling is it's cold, so it does not cook your rabbit while it needs to go and be browned on the fry pan. Remember, we have to roast this just nice and coarse. Doesn't need to be too fine. And if you overcook those roots, you need to put some breadcrumbs, otherwise the filling will be too runny. So now we need to put this in the center and inside rabbit, and then we're going to tie it down with some string, which I have here. Not too tight, just enough to close up the belly. Once that's done, we put a fry pan on, nice and warm. Put some olive oil, a knob of butter, and we're going to brown first the onions and my garlic. You can make it very rustic looking. You can go very fine as well. It all depends what you want. But I'll go nice and rustic like this. And here they go. Now my onions are nice and soft. I can take them out, lower the flame. We want to leave some oil in there because we want going to brown the rabbits into it. So we just lightly take all the onions, just put them aside. Now the whole rabbit, I'm going to lightly flour it like that, and into the fry pan it goes, very gentle. Now the onions that we sweetened before are going to go back in, and we're going to deglaze the whole thing with 330 ml of this pale ale. Put your flame higher so the whole thing doesn't steam down, and there she goes, the old beer into it. And we're going to give a nice kick start there. Going to put lots of cracked pepper on. And the salt. And we transfer the whole thing into into here. And then we add a nice bunch of Kalamata olives, bay leaves, rosemary, nice and coarse. You can chop this all fine if you like, and sage as well. In fact, it's going to smell beautiful just right now. And there she goes in the oven for 20 minutes roughly, and at 175 degrees. Here we go. And now the 20 minutes are over, we'll check the rabbit. Oh yeah, it looks absolutely delicious, yum, and smell fantastic. The beer has formed this beautiful sauce. That's looking absolutely gorgeous, guys. Very Mediterranean flavors. We got the beers, you got the olives, all those beautiful herbs. Now what I will do, we'll cut the string off. Voila, guys. Beer with rabbit, roasted rabbit.
So we're at Hargreaves Hill Brewery in Lilydale. Let's go and see what Simon Walkenhorst's up to. Simon, how does a professional piano player end up owning a brewery?
Oh, look, we took a trip to the UK back on our honeymoon in 2002 and found some fantastic little breweries over there. Drank a lot of fantastic English ale, a few Belgian beers as well, and just found that the world of beer was a lot larger overseas and the culture was deeper than it was at that time in Australia. And,
tell us about Hargreaves Hill.
Okay, we started brewing back in 2004 after a few years of development and learning all the ins and outs of brewing. We decided to open up in the Yarra Valley because it was always a burgeoning food and wine area, and at the time there wasn't a lot on offer in beer. We thought it was a very complementary sort of product to go along with the regional produce out here. And so we just started working in earnest to try and get our little brewery open. We started brewing at Steels Creek in just 10 minutes the other side of Yarra Glen, on my wife's family's property. We put up a little shed there and started it with a small 400-litre brewery. We started by producing a pale ale, moving on to a porter and then a Hefeweizen, and just started mucking around with styles and that sort of thing, and found a little bit of a foothold and a bit of a following for our beer, and went from there.
And then, of course, there was Black Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. Our brewery was lost in the fires, as was my wife's family's property and many other properties in Steels Creek. It was a fairly devastated area in the fire. We decided to come down here to Lilydale for a couple of reasons. I think, firstly, the Betts family had enough on their plate without us having to re-establish our brewing operation out there. Also, it gave us an opportunity to upsize a little bit, get a little bit more professional equipment, bring in better bottling lines, that sort of thing, and it's a lot easier as well for distribution into Melbourne.
Well, here we are back in the keg room, and now it's time to try our imported India Pale Ale, and this week we've got Samuel Smith's India Ale. Top fermented in stone Yorkshire squares, it says, and it's got a very nice white rose of York on it.
As in War of the Roses. These guys are fantastic. The brewery was established in 1754. It's still independent, it's still family owned, and a Smith still runs it. They own 300 pubs, and these 300 pubs don't serve soft drinks, they don't serve RTDs, alcopops in Yorkshire. They certainly don't even serve spirits made by big companies, and they have their own brand of crisps, what we'd call chips. These guys are so traditionalist that they don't even have television or radios in their pubs. They had them until 2004 and took them out of all of their pubs. They deliver beer in keg in Tadcaster in Yorkshire by horse and carts. These guys are so traditional, they don't even have a website. I mean, the Beer Frontier has a website. You've got a website for your new single, which is...
Oh, theleglesslizards.com.au. Yeah, they must be like Amish or Methodists or Quakers or something, I think. Certainly got that vibe. But I must say, having tasted the beer is excellent. It's got a lovely malty smell to it. It's bitter and hoppy, but it's not too bitter. It's quite clear. It's not cloudy like the Australian IPAs were. It's very nicely balanced beer. Good mouth feel. That's a 4-star beer for me.
I think it's fantastic. This is the nicest beer I've had for a week. And I do have quite a lot of beer, I might add. I was very critical of the Australian microbrews for being over-hopped. Now, this is a beer style that should be highly hopped, but the hops are in balance and harmony with the malts. That is right. And you've got some lovely fruity esters on the nose, which is what gives it complexity. It's very intense, and it's a long-lasting flavour. This is a stunning beer. I'm going to give this 4.5 stars out of 5.
Okay, well that's all for this week. Please look at the website, find out how much we paid for and where we got the beers from and all that sort of thing. And a free t-shirt this week goes to the person who comes up with the best IPA rap. So thank you very much for watching, and good night.
Good night.